Hello, and welcome to my channel. This will be a look at the current state of top-tier Russia as of the last patch, and the last few patches in general. I'd like to preface this as someone who generally prefers to play other nations rather than Russia these days, especially at top tier. I used to play a lot of Russian top tier, mainly because they were fun to play, they were fast, and you could rush into positions, and a lot of people did not know how to pen them, and you can play fast and loose and just a head-on charge into the enemy team as quickly as possible. However, the ability to do this has fallen off in the last couple of patches. That being said, thank you for checking out my video. I'm trying to push for gaijin partner rather than just a content creator. So if you enjoy the content, please drop a like, comment on what you think the current state of top tier is, and subscribe if you'd like to see more analytical content such as this. I also stream daily on Twitch, link will be in the description down below. Now then, on to the video. Now I'm not going to be a typical top tier player and scream RussianBias at everything in top tier. If anything, outside of protection in certain situations, Russia has lagged behind in top tier for many different reasons. Now before you get your pikes and torches ready in the comments, let me explain. Russia in the previous patch was sitting at a comfortable 70 to 80% win rate at top tier. Right now it has slumped, with air quotes, to being around 50 to 60%. Now I do want to say that Russia's win rate has contributed to the fact that a lot of top tier players had played Russia during the last patch. The main reason I feel like is a mixture of matchmaking, as in the nations they get on their team, and a lack of experienced top-tier players on other nations facing Russia and Russian teams. Currently, USA, Sweden, and Japan have a higher win rate than Russia's counterparts. Like I said, top tier still sits at a very comfortable, and a very comfortable win rate for what it is. But why has it fallen off? Like, why? For what reason? Just like when the T80B and the T80U got released, originally Russia struggled at top tier due to being power crept by other nations. So Gaijin's answer was to release more MBTs for Russia, and this has resulted in for a very long time Russia having the most applicable ground vehicles in ground battle matches. Obviously their cast was not as good as America or other nations. However, this was Gaijin's solution. Well, Russia suffers, so we should make them have more MBTs to fix this. And this resulted in a lot more Russian MBTs being added to top tier, and for a long time Russia had a lot more top tier tanks than any other nation, so they could just bring more tanks to bear, which made it a lot more dangerous as a nation because they could just keep spawning if they had a full lineup. Now, I do think this is a dangerous precedent at the current win rate that we're seeing for Russia. I'm worried because I have a bad feeling that Russia is going to get another MBT or two that are in the late 2000s, such as the T90M or one of the later T90 export variants. My problem with this is a lot of other nations do not even have tanks from the late or mid 2010s. Hell, even early 2010s. The Tusk one that America was just given for this last update was shipped originally in 2007. The German 2A6 Leopard was shipped in 2006-2007. In contrast to the T80 BVM, which was released in 2017, the T72B3 in 2010, or the upgrade package that you can get for it in-game, was being released in 2016. The numbers here are kind of sketchy in terms of Russians' MBTs being quite a lot further ahead in terms of modern comparisons to their counterparts. So why is it then that later variants of the M1 Abrams or the Leopard are not added to the game? I mean, God knows Germany needs more top-tier tanks. Their win rate has consistently sat at a much lower win percentage than other top-tier nations, sitting at sitting in the 50s or below for some days or months or weeks, but it usually sits around 51 to 53% win rate. The answer is quite simple. These tanks would ruin Gaijin's idea that Contact 5 armor is effective. The truth is, the M89A3 shot was made specifically for the application of punching through Contact 5 in ERA, along with the DM73 being made to have more kill potential against ERA by adding more propellant to a DM53 round. The problem is if they add the later series tanks, Gaijin will have no excuse for Contact 5 working against competing nations' newer rounds. Technically speaking, the Tusk 1 that's in the game should already have M89A3 shot as it is. There's a lot of problems with Russian tanks as it is. Reverse speed being one of the major issues, as once you're in a position in a Russian tank, you really only have two directions to go, forward or to the diagonal. To be completely honest, even with the ERA being overtuned in the game as it is, Russian tanks are still not that good in comparison to something like the M1A2 Sepp or the Leclerc, or hell, even the Type 10 or the Black Knight. Russia just has a lot of tanks they can continue the game with, and due to spawn points being lower for MBTs, they're able to spam over and over. The problem is now America has another applicable top tier tank. If you have the M1A1 AIM, the M1A2, the M1A2 Sepp, the M1IP, and the HSTVL, you have as many tanks, not including the M1A1 and the M1A1HC. But, you know, you can spam as many tanks on America as Russia can now. And I think that's a big difference in how America plays now, because a lot more people are inclined to grind America now. So American teams tend to spawn more than Russian teams now because they have more tanks in their lineup. So, you know, American tanks for the most part outclass Russia, especially in a hull down position, because Russian players do not use their dozer blades effectively or at all. And I think that's a huge issue. I've noticed in a lot of games that when I use the dozer blade, my effective ability to stay alive is a lot longer than without the dozer blade. Mainly because you protect your lower front plate and your driver's hatch if you use the dozer blade correctly. So, the problem with it is, in the near future, I see Russia getting more top-tier tanks, you know, more top-tier later stage tanks, like the T90M or the T90MS or AM export tanks. And I don't agree with it, because Germany needs to be addressed more than Russia does. Sweden has continued to get a lot more top-tier tanks, and Germany has yet to get an actual top-tier tank since the 2A6 being released in the late 2020. And no, I won't count the Leopard 2PL as an actual top-tier tank. Anyway, rant mode disengaged. If you made it this far, please leave a comment below and tell me what you think about the video and what your thoughts on top tier are and how they could be addressed. If you'd like to see specific MBTs or a subject made on a specific MBT from an analytical sense, please let me know and I will try to get to the video as soon as I can. Thank you all. Have a good day.